All right, welcome back everybody. So today I thought I would do a little review video on this truck. I've had a couple comments and stuff asking what I think of it so far, so thought today we'd do a quick little review of this truck, and I'll let you know what I like about it, don't like about it, and all that good stuff. So this truck is a 2022 W990, has a X15 Cummins, what is it, 565 and 2050 torque, 18-speed manual, has Meritor 46,000 rears on the Kenworth 8-bag, 358 gear ratio, and 6-wheel disc brakes, 22.5 tires. I think that's the main specs. 245 wheelbase. So yeah, that's the main thing. So first of all, the truck I've got, let's see, I think I got a little over 72,000 miles on it so far, and so far so good. I've had no check engine lights. I had one instance where the emission, the little mill light, came on for half a day or a day or something, and it went out. Haven't had any issues after that. I plugged my little scanner into it to check what the code was, and it wouldn't tell me. So I don't know if I need to get a new scanner, because my scanner was for a ISX 15, not the X15. So I'm not, it would read it and say there was a code, but it wouldn't tell me what it was. So maybe I need to get a new scanner for the X15. So we'll work on that. So let's see, here at the front, paint's staying pretty good. Everything's nice. A lot of paint missing off that hitch, unfortunately. Been having to get pulled quite a bit, more than I want to. So I scratched that up a little bit. Even one of the chains broke one time, and demolished my license plate, but I beat her back into submission, so she's fine. Luckily it didn't damage anything else on the front end. On my second set of steers, which isn't really truck related or nothing, but 72,000 miles on my second set. My air intakes been staying on. The other side, the driver's side one, I had it down at Kenworth for some other work, and they took it off and re-glued it, but haven't had any issues with those. And sorry it's not super clean. We was just the holiday week here with the 4th of July, so we just worked 3 days, so I didn't wash it. I wiped it down with my car duster, California car duster, and I actually put new drive tires on it. So I got 72,000 miles out of the XDN2s that were on it. So I got a set of these Toyos, an open shoulder drive. Never ran these before, but I was looking for some open shoulder drives for maybe a little better traction. So we'll see how these work. The road that we're hauling on, pretty turny and twisty, so I'm not expecting super long life out of them, but hopefully I get, you know, if I get 50,000 miles out of them, I would be happy with that. Gave my wheels a quick fluff and buff. Not the best job, but they'll do for now. So yeah, it looks pretty good, other than the trailer wheels look like heck now that the truck wheels look good. But back to the review. So yeah, everything's holding up well. Had a question asked in one of the other videos about the stinger. I never did taper this. You can do a double taper, but they don't do that from the factory at Kenworth. That's something you have to take to someone outside, third party, I guess you'd call it, that'll taper those. Like Whitlog does them, General Trailer. I think all the log trailer manufacturers do them, and then there's some private guys that do them as well. I've always wanted to try to do it myself, but I'm a little bit nervous because I've never done it. So someday, maybe I'll do that. I'd like to taper it and make it removable so that you can pull the stinger off and put a fifth wheel on if you had to. I don't mind the looks of the square. The only issue with the square stinger is you can see like right here and here, it's in extreme dips, water bars. Sometimes this will come up and hit the bottom of the load, especially if your logs are not perfectly straight on the bottom. If they got a little crook in them, it'll come up. And as a matter of fact, if you look at my hitch, I'll try to remember to put a picture in of this, but I was on one job site, had some pretty bad water bars, and the load came up and hit this lock, and it just bent the lock right over on my hitch. So that's why this is just primered. So I had to replace that. Yeah, I think I have a picture of it still on my phone. So if I do, I will put that in the video so you guys can see. I never would have believed that the log would have bent that, but it did. But luckily got the air hitch, so I just what did I do? Baling wired and rubber snubbered her closed, and I made it to the mill, came home and fixed it. So, but yeah, the double taper is something that I'd still someday I want to do, because I think it does look a little bit nicer. I don't mind the looks of this, but I think it does look a little bit nicer tapered, and it gives you a little bit more clearance because it drops the hitch down probably, I'm just guessing, about an inch. So you know, an inch makes a big difference in the dips and stuff. So coming around this side, yeah, everything's holding up pretty good. Like I said, I do only have a 110 gallon fuel tank, which if I had to order this truck again today, I would probably put a 120 gallon tank, because there's enough room. I think those tanks are about 6 inches longer, so there's enough room here to move the tank up, and with 120 I might only be like an inch or two farther back, and that would just give me I haven't run out of fuel or nothing, but see, I think the most I put in is about 85 gallons, but it'd just be nice to have that extra fuel just in case, you know. Yeah, that's that would be one change. And let's see, let's go ahead and get the hood open, and we'll check out underneath. I think the biggest thing that I hate with this truck is the hood. It's so flippin' heavy that I have a hard time opening it. But got it open now. I need a little more weight in my behind. But yeah, the hood is very heavy. That's one of the things that I don't like about this truck. Hood's heavy. It's too bad they don't have like a air assist rams like on the, I think it was like the mid 80s long hood Pete's 359s, I think, had a air assist ram. So maybe I ought to invent that and sell them. Motor staying pretty clean on this side. Oh, one thing too on the hood. So let's see, there is the hood where the tilt bracket where it mounts to the hood. There's 4 bolts over there, but you only see 3 because one is missing. And for some reason I can't get another bolt to thread in there, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But those 4 bolts loosen up. They loosened up over time, and then same on this side. So it's a good idea to check those every you know, a couple weeks or once a month. Check those bolts, make sure they're tight. And then also the little saddle that the hood rests on, that up there, there's 3 bolts that hold that on, and those also were loose. So I tightened them up. So it's a good idea to check those out, you know, at least once a month, I guess. So if you're interested in getting a truck, a 990, or you have one, I don't know if you've had the similar problems, but I had those problems with that. I do grease the heck out of the spots every week to try to keep the hood, or try to be able to open it. I think this is the biggest culprit here, this one. It just gets locked in there. But as far as that goes, the hood is one of the things that I most dislike about the truck. It's extremely heavy to open, and it's actually very hard to see over. And it is a long hood truck, which I knew going in, but I thought I would get used to it, and I get around fine with it, but I just it's not my favorite. I had a short hood W900, and those are my, you know, my favorite trucks. So I kind of miss the short hood. Just for out in the woods, makes it easier to get around. Does have a Meritor. I don't remember what particular axle it is, but it is a Meritor. It's a 13.2. But as far as the turning radius of the truck is not bad for a long hood truck. It turns pretty good. I don't think it turns as well as my 2014 W900. That truck was the best truck I ever had for turning, but this one does very good. So let's see, drawback is the hood. And let's see, if I was going to buy the truck again, I probably would leave most everything the way it is, other than I might add a little bit more to the wheelbase, make it a 250 instead of a 245. On the driver's side, underneath the hood, so the only issues I had the mill light come on and it went off. So I need to get a, like I said earlier, I need to get a new code reader to see what that was. Could have just been a hiccup in a sensor or something. But the steering box was leaking a little bit. So Kenworth covered that under warranty, no problem. So they put a new steering box on it, and I had that done probably a year ago. Only had maybe about 30,000 miles or something on it. So that's been done, and then this one's not been leaking at all. And the only other issues I've had are wheel seals. I have replaced both wheel seals on the rear drive axle. For some reason or another, I lost both of those, and I just hate doing wheel seals, so that's you know, just my own pet peeve. So that's why I was disappointed with that. 500,000 mile wheel seals last 30,000 miles. Doesn't make sense to me, but anyway, we replaced them. They may have been covered under warranty, but by the time you drive the truck down to the dealership to let them do it and go back and get it, it's better off, you're just better off to do them yourself. Okay, and then another question that I have for everybody watching is, what's your opinion of the disc brakes? I've heard they're a little lighter than the drum, and then I also heard the drum is lighter than disc, so I'm not real sure which one is lighter. So maybe if someone knows that, you could put your opinion in here. Haven't had real issues with them. The thing I do notice, I do know, is they do stop really well. I've kind of messed around with the truck a little bit, and just to you know, see what it'll do when they do stop really well. Another thing that I've noticed is they do not seem to squeak like my drum brakes did. What was another question I had? Oh, this truck is a 565 2050, and I didn't go with a 605 because mainly cost. The cost is quite a bit more. I think it's around $8,000, I think. I'm not saying that's correct, but I thought that's what it was to go for the extra 50 horsepower. And to be honest, I just don't drive that hard. I could have a 1,000 horsepower engine and I would still get run over, just because I just don't go that hard on the road. So that one runs plenty good for me. So that's what I would do, stick with the 565. 18 speed, I'll stick with the manual. I did drive an automated one over the winter, and they're not horrible, but I'll stick with my manual. And I like the 18 speed versus a 13 speed because you can split shift the low side of the transmission, which, especially out in the woods, a lot of times you'll be coming up a steep hill or something, and I will use, like, you know, first over or second over. So it's a good option to be able to split the low side of the transmission. So that's my opinion on that. Oh, and I got the 358s with 22.5 tires, so it's pretty fast. It's too fast for me. I would go back to a 373. I would slow it up one spot on the gear ratio, and that would put it back to a truck with 24.5 tires and a 391. It should be about the same speed, but I would do a 373. All right, well, let's go ahead and let's open the hood, let's open the door and check out the inside, see how she's doing in here. So inside of the truck is holding together pretty good. Seats are still in fantastic shape. And take off my glasses here. And so what we got? We got 72,346 on the dot. But yeah, inside everything is staying pretty good. The cab still gets dirty, dusty on the inside, even with the air filtration system and the heat and air. But a lot of that I think is just the dusty environment that I am in. And I have the window down a little bit, you know, when I'm off road, which is probably not what you're supposed to do to keep it clean, you know. But working in the dust that I do, it's just something you're going to have to deal with. But on the inside, I built this little goofy little wood storage thing, a place so I can put my wallet and my little notepad. Like, just write down you know, my start and ending miles and where I went and how much fuel I burned and all that good stuff. Write that down. Got to put a little piece of metal on here so I can hang my load receipts, calendar, and I got my fuel card and staples and little storage and crud underneath. But yeah, I have to build that because you have this big giant cab and there's no storage. It doesn't make any flipping sense to me. You have a couple cup holders and a little cubby there. You got a cubby right here, which is tiny. I am not exactly sure what you put there. But on the W900 series trucks, you had the little console in the center with two cup holders and all that good stuff. So yeah, I put my phone in here, throw my wallet and stuff over here. But yeah, I think it's kind of odd because you got this big old giant cab and no place to put anything. I don't like to throw stuff on the dash, so I just leave that clean. But let's see, all the gauges are still working. The backlighting here on the clock at nighttime, it has a mind of its own. It'll work when it wants to. And another thing that's probably covered under warranty, but it's just a matter of, will the light go out when it's sitting at the dealership? But yeah, all in all, this truck is very nice. It's pretty quiet, has good power, and yeah. Oh, the air over hydraulic clutch, forgot about that. Real easy to push in. Haven't had any issues with it, and it's got a self-adjusting clutch, no problems whatsoever. The only thing with it, it's a little bit jumpy. It's hard to be smooth when you're taking off. Look at all the dust there. Better wipe that off. But yeah, when you're leaving a stop sign or a stoplight or something, it's a little, can be jumpy at times, and you look a little bit like a rookie. Turn the key off. But normally, it's fine. But yeah, that's about it on the inside, I think. Pretty comfortable truck. Got decent leg room. I still get a little sore in it, but different kind of sore from the B model. So let's see. Yeah, I think that would be doing it. Let's go ahead and lower the hood back down. Put my sunglasses back on because it's bright out here today. And these trucks have a safety latch here, so you just pop that up and then you'll be able to lower it down. Oh, the headlights, I should mention those. I just running the stock headlights that they have, and they are bright. I get I get flashed quite a bit from other vehicles, but I was a little nervous about those headlights, if they were going to be bright enough, but they seem to be really good. I'm happy with those as a stock light. They have a nice wide pattern and can see pretty well with the headlights. I did change out the turn signal light. I put a an LED bulb. I think it's a 3157, I think, but anyway, I swapped out the incandescent one for an LED. All right, so I think that's going to do it. So yeah, the W990, it's working fine, no problems whatsoever to speak of. It's been like I said, 72,000 miles we've got on the truck so far, and everything's been going along pretty good. Just normal oil changes, fuel filters, air filter. Biggest drawback of this truck is the hood, trying to get the hood open, and it is a little bit hard to see over here, can be blind, because it's a massive hood. It's too bad Kenworth is not building a standard hood model of these trucks. So I think this is 130 inches or 131, I can't remember, from bumper to back of cab. I wish they built a 120, kind of like the W900B. I think you could do it. I think there's room under the hood. I think it could be done, but I don't know why Kenworth's not doing it yet. But yeah, but so far the truck is doing fine. Really wouldn't change too much about it. Maybe, like I said, the gear ratio, I would have gone a little bit slower. The 358 is would be a great ratio if you're doing a little more highway driving, a little more freeway driving, running 60 to 65 miles an hour. That would be perfect. But up here, I'm kind of just running the hills, you know. I think I average about 25-30 miles an hour probably on average. So the 373 would probably be better in my opinion. So I would change the gear ratio on that, and I probably would go back to a Super 40 rear end, the big differentials with the smaller housing. That way you could save a little bit of weight. Disc brakes, like I said, I am torn on the disc versus the drum, so I would love to have someone's opinion on those. If you have experience with them or your thoughts, I'd love to hear what you guys think of the drum versus disc debate. I guess we'll call this video good. Hope this answered some questions. Appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned to the channel. We'll still be making some videos on log trucking, maybe a little videos on this thing, and maybe get to work on Brownie at some point if we ever have spare minutes. And then I got exciting news coming down the road here, maybe in by the end of the year. I'll fill you guys in. So all right, with that, you guys, appreciate you watching. Thanks for sticking with me on all this stuff and my blabbering here with this video. But like I said, please leave comments on this and tell me what you think of the truck. And like I said, if you have experience with any of the components, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the X15 versus the ISX, the manual versus the automated, and the rear ends, the ratios, the disc brakes, all that stuff. Tire size, see, that's another thing. I go back and forth every single day on tire size. 24.5 versus 22.5. What should you do? You know, the 22.5s are lighter, more easily obtained. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think of all that stuff. I'd love to hear everyone else's opinions, because that would make me not sleep at night even more. Give me more things to think of. All right, with that, thanks again for watching, you guys, and catch you on the next one.